In this video we're going to look at the print statement. Print is very versatile. We probably won't cover it all in this video. But the main reason for using print is to send something to the screen. So let's start with that. Print hello. The simplest form of print that we can have. Just run that program. And there we go, we've got hello. I could use the shell to do my work. Does exactly the same thing as writing the code, but I'm going to use the code window because it's much cleaner. So we will use the code window to do it. Now print can print anything really, so let's take a look. Print true, print 3.4. So if I run those, there we go. It's printed the string hello. It's printed true, exactly as it is, a Boolean variable. Okay, that is not a string. There is no quote marks around it, and it has printed 3.4 numbers. So it's versatile in what it can do. Let's take a look at sort of the Python 3 version, which the difference between Python 2 and Python 3 with the print statement is just that it puts things in round brackets. So if I run that, it still works nicely. So let's take a look at those three statements that I did. Print, let's do false this time, if I could spell false, and print 3.4. Let's run the program, and there we go. It does exactly the same as before. So here we go, three statements. So we could use the round brackets, but as it's Python 2.7, we tend to just miss them out. Okay, and that is just as good. So that's our first look at what it can print. It can print lots of different things, and I'm going to concentrate now just on sort of these strings here. So there's two ways of printing strings. I can print string with sort of quote marks around it, double quote marks, and I can print a version with single quote marks around it. So if I run that, we'll see that it prints out hello. It doesn't matter which version we use. Now you might think, well, what's the point of that? Why is it different? Well, let's take a statement such as I wanted to print that's nice, okay, which contains an apostrophe in, then I must use the double quote marks. Print double quote that's nice, and that will work fine. Okay. And it prints out with the apostrophe. However, if I try to do that with just apostrophes, so if I try to do print single quote mark that's nice, and run that, I'm going to get myself an error. There we go, I've got a syntax error. So why have I got the syntax error? Well, we need an opening and a closing set of quote marks, either double or single. And in this one, I've got an opening and a closing quote mark there. So it's only ever going to print, if it could, the word that. S space nice and that quote mark there are outside of that string. I think you can just about see it, that's the string there, and this is not. So that's the reason why we have sort of double quote marks, is so we can print an apostrophe. There are other things. The reason why we've got the single quote marks and why they work is, let's say we were going to quote somebody. So for example, we have a quote like Houston, we have a problem. So a famous quote by an astronaut for Apollo 13 when part of that blew away, but it's a quote. And I might want to display it as a quote like that, and not just Houston, we have a problem without quotes. In other words, let me show you. I don't want it to appear on the screen like that. I want it to appear exactly like that. Now that's where we can sort of use the single quote marks to get the quotation. So if I put print single quote mark, Houston, we have a problem, and I could write inside here a quote from Apollo 13. Houston, we have a problem. When I save and run that, you'll see what happens. There we go, a quote from Apollo 13. Houston, we have a problem, in quote marks. So I've managed to print out my quote marks this time. So there's the reason for using single and double quote marks. It's down to you. More often than not, we don't have quotes in programming. It's unusual, but we may have sort of apostrophes. So again, the print, that's nice. It is quite a common quote mark, or quite a common thing to print out with an apostrophe, and therefore we'd start off with the double quote marks. So save and run that one, and you'll see that happen. So there we go. That's the reason for the double and single quote marks.